All right, let's hear the latest from Fox News senior judicial analyst Andrew Napolitano, who very clearly believes that Donald Trump has committed crimes in this entire Ukraine fiasco, that Donald Trump has committed impeachable offenses in this entire thing. And Andrew Napolitano went on with Shep Smith, and he talked about what Trump has done in the context of the Ukraine phone call and the Biden family smear investigation. And let's take a look at this. And this is making the Fox News audience go absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
The president admits that on a phone call with the president of Ukraine, he requested that the president of Ukraine investigate his 2020 political rival, Joe Biden. Is that a crime?
It is a crime for the president to solicit aid for his campaign from a foreign government.
So that would be that to which the president has admitted is in and of itself a crime.
Yes, this is the same crime for which the Trump organization was investigated by Bob Mueller, who decided not to seek an indictment because there wasn't enough evidence.
Well, no, he said he didn't seek an indictment because he wasn't charged because of the DOJ rule that said you can lay it out, but you can't charge.
That's on the obstruction of justice, on whether or not there was a conspiracy between the Russians and the Trump campaign. He said there's some evidence, but not enough to indict. It's the same crime, an agreement or a solicitation for assistance for an American campaign regulated by the Federal Election Commission, where you are seeking the assistance from a foreign government. That's the crime.
And then the question of, is this impeachable, a little bit later in the interview? And remember, this is Fox News, folks.
Based on the specifics of what we know, forget about the phone call, forget all of the things about which we have no knowledge, just based on the things that the president has admitted. The president's admitted that he made a phone call to the new president of Ukraine. The president has admitted that he had discussions about investigating his upcoming 2020 presidential rival. Based on that in and of itself, how serious is this matter for the nation and the democracy, legally speaking?
When Bob Mueller made his findings that the obstruction of justice it could be an impeachable offense, that's equivocal. Bribery absolutely is an impeachable offense. There's no equivocation. Why do I say that? Because it's stated in the Constitution. The basis for impeachment: treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
So understand that the important part about this is not, oh, Fox News is no longer going to be a right-wing propaganda outlet. They still are going to be a right-wing propaganda outlet. The upside of all of this is that the behavior of this particular Republican president is so outrageous that it is starting to make Republicans eat themselves. There are some right-wingers that are starting to turn on each other because what Donald Trump is doing is indefensible. You have some Republicans like Mitt Romney, Justin Amash, who I guess is not really a Republican anymore, but he was. He no longer is because of Donald Trump, I guess, at least partially, who just can't keep pretending that everything is fine. And it's generating some division within the party. And it's a great thing for the left if we can take advantage of it. There are some rats, so to speak, who are jumping ship. There are other rats who in the scramble are just starting to eat other rats. And in the end, it's crazy that this is the fundamental question of the time between now and the November of 2020 election. What will determine the 2020 election is, do Democrats eat themselves more or less than Republicans? For example, arguing about, as I told you yesterday, or earlier in the program rather, about the scope of what the Trump impeachment inquiry should be. You are going to see some Republicans start to pretend they never even really supported Donald Trump to begin with. You are going to see other Republicans double down. It will cause chaos, hopefully, for their 2020 reelection campaigns. Who's with who on this? And the left needs to, instead of doing the same thing, the left needs to take advantage of this opportunity, take advantage over the internal disagreements that the right is going to start having. And don't do the same thing. Don't start arguing about whether to have an impeachment inquiry. There is an impeachment inquiry. That's it. Don't start arguing over issues that ultimately they would be Pyrrhic victories to come ahead on. There are arguments Democrats can choose to have where some faction can win the argument, but do so much damage in having the argument that we end up just helping Donald Trump get himself reelected in November of 2020, which still may happen. Now, as far as Fox News Judge Andrew Napolitano here, what he's doing here is not controversial, okay? What Andrew Napolitano is doing here is he's ignoring whether someone has an R or a D after their name. And he is doing what judges are supposed to do. He's looking at the text of statutes, the text of what makes a president impeachable, and then he is applying the law to the actions that Donald Trump has taken, at least the ones that we know about that haven't been covered up. And then he spits out an analysis that is merely a calculation of these are crimes, these are Trump's actions, that makes Trump's actions crimes, that makes Trump's actions impeachable actions, and that's it. And the fact that this is so notable, that this is happening, tells us about the sad state of partisanship that we are experiencing right now.